Okay, well, I think that we're recording. Welcome to class. It is week 2, everybody. So just want to throw out there that so far I have read some really great stuff for you guys. And I really enjoyed looking at the different locations, obviously, your introductions, and, what you guys can do to actually reduce stress. And honestly, there are so many things you can do. It like in the textbook, there are lists, there are websites. Also, when you looked at the Kelly McGonigal TED Talk, she discussed how stress can actually be your friend in a positive manner. And I've actually found it energizing as a teacher since I don't just teach online. I teach majority of my classes in person and I tutor. It's been a really, getting used to new people every few months. I can use that stress to energize myself. Okay, so let's talk about week 2. All right. So this week, you guys are going to be going over chapters 3 and chapters 4. And chapter 3 focuses on free speech. And you're thinking, why is this important? Well, it's extremely important because we in the United States are one of the countries that are lucky enough to have the ability to get up out in front of people and say, this is what I believe in. This is what's important to me. Now, you need to be ethical about that. And the chapter discusses the ethical aspects related to that. And it also talks about demagogues, those who take advantage of others. So, for an example, Hitler is a great example of a person who took advantage and used fear to get people to do what he wanted. And it harmed millions of people, obviously. But if you can write an ethical speech, you can absolutely touch people, even if it's one or two, and then you grow and then you grow. And being online, you can touch millions of people within minutes. Chapter 4 deals with listening, and listening is a very big, important component in anything in life. Whether it's work, school, in your personal relationships, listening is something you can practice every day. So, obviously, I would like you to read chapter 3 and 4 and then the week 2 to-do list, pardon me. All right, so if we open this wonderfulness here, there is the 2 PowerPoints to review and then we have the activities. And the 2 activities are the listen and analyze and the famous free speech. There aren't any discussions and all of these are due by Sunday at 11:59 p.m. So the first day of the week is obviously the 20th, so it is due by the 26th at 11:59. I understand that many of the schools do not have classes, but since we are an online class, Monday is considered our first day. So just wanted to let you know that. So let's discuss the 2 assignments. First one, listen and analyze. So what you're going to do is to choose two speeches from any of these websites. Now, the AmericanRhetoric.com has audio and video speeches. I want you to do a video because I want you to examine the list of visual, nonverbal cues, body language, etc. And then, or you can choose from the Belmont Speech Lab, which is that basically this university or college has speech contests, and they have a lot of great examples. And then, or you can choose any TED Talk that's out there, and there are hundreds of thousands of them out there. Then you choose two of these, okay? One persuasive and one informative. So, persuasive, obviously, you're trying to persuade somebody to think, do, or behave in a certain way. Informative is just you're learning about something. They're there to teach you about something. Then on page 62 in figure 4.2, so there's a figure, okay? That is where you go, and there's a list of audience centered speaker evaluation questions. That is what you have to fill out in detail, not just yes or no. It needs to be have basically needs explanations. Then I also want you to answer why you chose each one of these speeches, what was the most difficult part of analyzing them, and what was the easiest. And then I would suggest watching them at least several times because you don't always pick up on the nuances, like how many ums or any other distractions or body language aspects that you normally would. So each one of these need to be 12 points Times New Roman font, double spaced, and at least 1 to 2 pages long each. Next is the history of speech. And public speaking or free speech, chapter 3, deals with a lot of different aspects on the impact of free speech in the United States. So some of the examples are on page 38 in table 3.1, okay? But there are hundreds of thousands. So if you go to fire.org, or excuse me, First Amendment Library, there are collections of different things of people who have impacted free speech today, such as Susan B. Anthony is a great example. She fought for voting rights for women to own property, for women to actually go to college, and she actually fought and got the first woman ever to get into college. So there are many different people out there besides the things that you would learn at school, like Harriet Tubman, Rosa Parks, and any of the male aspects that fought for our free speech. And there are lots. You can also find information at the ACLU, which they'll discuss in the chapter, and there's other lists as well. So questions that I want you to cover: who are the two people you're going to discuss, okay? Or what's the organization you're going to talk about? Like I said, the ACLU. FIRE is also a company, or not really company, an organization that fights for free speech as well. What is their role in free speech? What impact have they had on free speech? And why did you choose these two people or a person in an organization? So this paper should be at least 1 to 2 pages long total, 12 point Times New Roman double spaced. So if you have any questions, don't hesitate to, you know, get a hold of me. Otherwise, as you can see, that is what's due this week. So just an update on what's coming up in the future. I'm going to jump into course week's content. And here we go, week 3. As you can see in week 3, coming up, this actually, and I'll have a review on this, is you guys are going to do an online scavenger hunt in the online library. Okay, that's basically how to find credible sources, how to use APA format, which is the requirements for the speeches. So these will help you with research aspects, etc. Not the most exciting thing next week, but necessary, very necessary. Also, we haven't quite finished this week, so just a couple of things to mention. In week 1, we had 3 discussion questions. Make sure you answer all of them. And the last discussion question related to anxiety, the TED Talk, that needs to have replies to get full credit. So if you have not done so, you still have time to do so. Now, I have gone in and graded everybody's who's completed them. So if you haven't done those replies, you have until 11:59 tonight. Otherwise, 11:59 tonight, and I will have the rest of the other aspects graded. I hope you guys have a great week. Please stay warm out there. It's supposed to be like a high of, I don't know, -3 or something today. Freezing. So I'll see you guys next week. Have a great and wonderful Sunday.